23-year-old mother of 6, Simena DeWater, is suing her father, security guard Simon DeWater, and his common-law wife, Debbie DeWater, for repossessing her car. Simon and Debbie are countersuing for an unpaid car loan and a wedding ring set.
Order. All rise. Quiet in the courtroom, please. Now, this is case number 227 on the calendar in the matter of DeWater versus DeWater. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat, please.
Mr. Water, this is your father.
Yes, it is.
And you are his girlfriend?
Yes.
You needed a car.
Mm-hmm.
Your father and his girlfriend helped you out with the finances because you didn't have any money. I think the car was $350. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yes, it was.
And your agreement was that you were supposed to pay them so much per month till the loan was repaid. I think $100 a month. Is that what you agreed to?
No.
What had you agreed to?
We didn't agree on how much exactly.
Okay.
We just said I would pay him back in installments.
All right, that's what you say. In any event, you gave him $100.
Right.
And it is your claim that at some point he called you up and said, I want the rest of the money. You didn't have it. He came and repossessed the car. And you want the money that you put into the car, which was $160, $100 that you had given to him in an installment, and then $60 for a new battery.
Right.
Your father and his girlfriend say you did not live up to your terms of the agreement, so that they were forced to repossess the car. They want money that you still owe them on the car, which is another $250, even though they have the car, and some money for an additional loan that your father says he made you for some wedding rings or something. I don't know. That's about, I'm sure he'll tell me. Mr. Water, when was the car purchased?
It was actually purchased on July 31st.
And when did you make the installment payment to your father?
On the 1st.
1st of August?
Yes.
Is that right?
That's true.
And when did your father call you and say he wanted some more money?
Okay, well, he called me on the 25th. I told him that I would not be able to...
What did he say to you?
He asked me if I would be able to give him some money the next day, because the next day I was supposed to be getting paid. And I told him I wouldn't have no money to give him. And I asked him if he would wait an extra week until the 1st, and then I'd give him some more money. And he said, okay. About 45 minutes to an hour later, he calls me back and tells me that Debbie wants me to call her at work. She tells me it's not good enough. So I told her...
What did she say to you, and what did you say to her?
Okay, well, I said, I won't get paid tomorrow. I said, I'll have some more money on the 1st. I said, can you guys wait till the 1st? She said, that's not good enough. They bought the car for me, and I should give them their money back. I said, if you guys can't work something out with me, I said, what we can do is we can sell the car. I said, you can give me my money back, and you can take your money. I didn't hear from them for 2 days. Mm-hmm. On the 27th, early in the morning, he came and said he was coming to pick up the car and demanded me to give him the keys.
And what happened?
I told him, I asked him, did he have my money? Because I told him he was not taking the car without me having my money. So he comes back around 6 o'clock that evening with the police. And I told the police the same thing, that I don't feel like I should have to give him the car back without me getting my money. So he wrote me a check for $160. As a matter of fact, we had the police exchange the car keys for the check. The police officer told me to keep the original title. He said, just in case anything happens, which was a good thing, because when I went to go cash the check at Money Tree that same day...
They had stopped payment on the check.
They went online and stopped payment.
Okay, so that's what this is about, $160. Right. All right, now let's hear your end of the story.
First of all, the agreement between us was that on the 1st she would give $100, and then 2 weeks after that she would give another $100, and then 2 weeks after that she would give another $100, and then $50 after that. The 25th, when I contacted her, she told me then, she said, I won't have the money until the 10th, not the 1st.
Did she call you at your place of business?
Yes,
Tell me about the conversation as
when
you
she
were
called
calling.
me, I said, Simena, I understand that you don't have your job anymore and you're not able to pay. So what can
She had lost her job?
Yes.
How did you know that?
She told me. She couldn't pay me.
What did she say?
Well, actually, on the 15th, she couldn't pay us because she said they didn't put her hours in. She wouldn't get paid till the 25th, which was a Sunday. When I talked to her that night at work, she said that she'd lost her job and that she wasn't going to get paid. And she didn't know when she could give me more money. I said, well, you know, maybe we should just take the car back. Mm-hmm. And she says, well, y'all can come get the car if you want, but I want my $100.
Where is the car now?
I have it up at a friend of mine's house.
You have somebody to buy it?
I did have a person to buy it until she left a message on my answer machine saying that the police officer said if I sold the vehicle that I can be arrested.
Do you have the title?
Yes, ma'am, I do. It's right here.
Oh, good. And it's in your name?
It is my name, and it's a Washington State title.
Good. Mr. Water, did you lose your job?
Actually,
No, you have to...
no,
not actually,
I did not lose my
listen
job.
to me, because that's very easy. That's just a phone call that I have to make.
Right.
So it's very easy. So I'm going to start again. Were you working at the same place, same number of hours in the beginning of August and in the middle of August?
Yes, I was.
And the end of August?
No, I wasn't.
You either left, quit, or you were fired?
Actually, it was just a work experience. My program was over. What I was doing is I had to take time off for when I had the baby. I have a 4-month-old baby. That was 3 months. I had time off, and then I had to finish my work
What's
experience.
3 months?
April, May, and June. I had my baby in May.
And July is when you needed a car.
Well, actually, I didn't ask for him to get the car. He offered to get me the car.
What kind of car did you get?
It was an Oldsmobile Cutlass, I believe.
What I want to know from you, sir, is when you wrote her the check for $160, you see, ordinarily, I would say to her, listen, you drove the car for a month. You didn't follow through with your agreement, because I believe you had an agreement that every 2 weeks you were going to get paid, and they had the right to take the car back. And you drove the car for a month. You can't get a rental car for a month. So it cost you $100 for the month. Say goodbye. That's what I would ordinarily say to her. But you gave her a check for $160 and then stopped payment on the check.
Yes, ma'am.
Explain to me why, sir.
Because when we did arrive there, actually...
Police would not give you the car unless you gave her the check.
No, ma'am. I'm the one that actually called the police because I told them that I knew that there would be an altercation. One of the police officers went with me with the paperwork.
Talk to me about this $160.
Why
did you give her the check? Just tell me.
Because she started calling me names. In order for the police officers to get on about their business, in order for me to get the vehicle, which was already mine, I agreed. The police officer and I talked about it, and I said, here, I can write her a check, and I will put a stop pay. The reason why...
Oh, no.
The reason why
I don't believe you said that to the police officer.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Let me see a police report that says that.
They did not do a report.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
6, 5, 4, 2, 1, and 4 months.
6 children. You receive public assistance.
No, I do not.
Sure you do.
And later today,
the squirrel had relieved himself on my microwave, ate up plants, chewed through a maple syrup bottle. I have pictures of the squirrel.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Simina DeWater says her father, Simon DeWater, and his common-law wife, Debbie DeWater, repossessed her car. Simon says his daughter had it coming.
See, the problem is, she believes she has a claim to a certain part of this car because she had, in fact, invested a certain amount of money in it. She's all wrong.
Okay.
Listen to me. She's all wrong, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I understand.
However, once you give her a check in order to resolve a dispute, and she accepts it and relinquishes physical custody of that car, relying on the fact that you have reached an agreement, you can't say, now I'm going to stop payment on the check. But you cannot do that. You cannot give her something. She gave up something in reliance on it and then stopped payment on the check. So she's entitled to that $160. Now, quiet, you're entitled to nothing on your claim for the rest of the money she owes you because you have the title to the car and you're going to sell the car. Put your hand down. So far, anything that you're entitled to, you got. Do you understand?
Yes.
I'm telling you, but for the fact he gave you this check, you would be entitled to Zippo, goose egg, nothing.
Right.
Now, let's go over to this loan, alleged loan for wedding rings, because that's the only thing I want to hear about now.
Okay.
Not entitled to any more money for the car. You got the car, keep it, sell it, do whatever you want with it.
Okay. What had happened was she was telling me that she was supposed to be getting married in July. I did offer to buy the rings because they were arguing back and forth. She just wanted a band and he wanted something that had bling bling. So what I did was I went and got them bands with diamonds in it, okay? What I did stipulate before I gave them the rings and they agreed to was that if they did not get married on the date that they said that they would, I wanted the money back for the rings. Then, come that date, she told me they postponed it till the next month because the people from his family wasn't able to come over to where we were. On the date that we went to pick up the car, She got smart. Like I said, she started calling me names. I told her, I said, okay, I want the money for the rings then.
Who were you supposed to marry?
My kid's father.
Your children's father?
Yes.
How many children do you have with this person?
6.
6 children. And how old are they?
6, 5, 4, 2, 1, and 4 months.
And where does this person live?
With me.
Does this person work? Is he employed?
Yes, he does.
Have you gotten married yet?
No, we have not.
Do you receive public assistance?
No, I do not.
Sure you do.
No, I do not. I terminated.
When did you terminate it?
I terminated it last month.
Oh, just last month.
Yes, I did, because I got a full-time job now.
So for 6 years, the guy's living with you, you make 6 babies with him, collect welfare. That's a very good reason not to get married. You get married, all that stops.
No, actually, he's on it. He was on it. Yes.
Who's on your budget?
Yes, he is. And he was working the whole time. Since we've been
Listen to
together,
me.
he's been
Listen
the one
to me.
working.
You have to understand something, Mr. DeWater. Your daughter and the father of her children, you understand, were involved in a little bit of shenanigans with the state and money. How old are you?
23.
23, 6 kids. You know her judgment is 0. You wanted her to get married. You bought the rings. Stupid! Stupid. Don't lend her any more money.
You're not.
Good. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It was a refusal to pay. It wasn't saying I didn't have the money and I can't pay you till, a certain date. It was just a refusal to pay.
They offered. I didn't ask them to get it for me. So that's their loss.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Damaris versus Harrington, Adinolfi. Step forward, please.
20-year-old homemaker Shannon Damaris is suing her former friends, 19-year-old salesperson Holly Harrington and 22-year-old car salesman Tony Adinolfi for the return of her cat, Smokey.
Okay, Mr. Damaris, you had a cat. Your cat's name was Smokey. Something happened, you had to move from where you were living, you couldn't take the cat with you, you asked the defendants, who were friends of yours, if they would take care of your cat for a while. That while turned into a long while, and now you want your cat back, and they say it's not your cat anymore. It's our cat.
Right.
Right, okay. So I need some facts. When did you get Smokey?
Smokey was given to me about 3 years ago.
What do you mean about 3 years ago? Let's get a month and year.
November of '99.
By whom?
My boyfriend's brother.
As a kitten?
They had him as a kitten, and then they gave him to us, yes.
But you didn't get him as a
No,
kitten?
I didn't get him as a kitten.
When you say he was given to us, you were living with your boyfriend at the time?
Yep.
So the cat was given to your boyfriend?
He was given to us as a couple, yes.
And then you got custody of the cat when you separated?
We never separated.
So you're still together?
Yep.
Oh, that's so interesting. When did you give the cat to the defendants?
I had given the cat in her custody in the middle, probably around the 15th of February.
And when did you ask for the cat back?
I asked for the cat back in June. That's a lie.
Let's say you asked for the cat back 5 months later. Where were you for 5 months?
I had asked for the cat in June because on my birthday, which was July 21st, is when I attempted to actually get the cat. But
That's July.
Yeah,
so
I had
that's 6 months
attempted
later.
in June to get the cat. I said I'm going to be taking the cat, and she just kind of put her head down and walked away.
Fine. So then you didn't do anything in June. So the first time you tried to get the cat back was in July, which was 6 months later. Where had you been for 6 months?
I had been living with my parents. My landlord at the time, I had to move in with my parents, and the landlord didn't allow it because we had 3 pets already. And when my dog died, that kind of gave me an opportunity to bring another animal in, and my landlord allowed that at that time.
Where was the boyfriend?
He's incarcerated.
When did he become incarcerated?
On January 24th of 2002.
Is that why you lost your apartment?
Yep.
Okay. How many animals do you have now?
We have 2 cats.
Did you have those 2 cats before?
Those are my parents' cats.
Well, where are you living now?
I'm living with my parents.
And these 2 cats that are your parents' cats, have they ever lived with Smokey?
No.
They have not?
No.
Why would you want to take this cat back now?
Because
now we're talking about almost a year later.
The reason it's a year is because they dragged it out, basically. I attempted to get. I told them in June that I.
Listen to me. July is when you first. That's 6 months. We're not talking about bringing home a sweater or 4 new tires. According to the defendants, it was supposed to be a short-term arrangement for a month, and you were also supposed to give them some money to take care of the cat, which you never did. Is that right?
That's correct.
No money, no vet bills, no food, no anything else. But more importantly, you're treating this as if it was an inanimate object.
I care very much about my cat.
I don't care about you. I don't care about you. You have a cat. You disappear for 6 months. You're out of the picture for 6 months. That animal has bonded with a new family. And now you say a year later, I want my cat back.
I attempted to get my cat back, and they dragged
6 months later.
No, about 4 months later.
No.
There was no agreement of how long. The thing is, I couldn't take care of the cat at the time, and me and my friend came together, and she said, I will help you out.
Who are you?
Can I say something, Your
Who
Honor?
are you?
I'm her witness.
To what?
To what happened about the agreement and everything.
She wasn't even there, Your
She
Honor.
wasn't even there.
She was there.
No, she was not.
Come on. When were you there?
Your Honor, technically I wasn't there for the agreement, but...
Sit down. Then I'm not interested in technically. If technically you weren't there, this is a court. This is technical. You're suing for $500. You're not getting the cat back. How much is the value of the cat to you?
He's part of me is what he's the value of it.
Part of you. When something is part of you, like a child, then you don't give it up for 6 months.
I didn't give it up for 6 months. I attempted to get my cat, and they dragged it out. And I offered them money.
You're not following, madam. What you did was tell me that the cat came into their possession in February. You told her in June you were going to be coming for the cat, but you didn't go there until July.
Yes, I did.
That's 6 months.
I went there several times. And I visited with the cat and everything.
Just a
and
second.
she never mentioned
Just wait a
ever.
second. Did you go to visit the cat every day?
Not every day, about twice a week.
Hmm?
About twice a week I'd hang out over there.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Sure it is. Case is dismissed, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He was my cat, and I did attempt to get him back several times.
When we first got him, he was very neglected, not taken care of.
They are the one that has dragged it out this long, not me.
She definitely neglected the animal. She's got previous histories of neglecting her animals. I hear she can't even take care of her own child, never mind her animals.
Don't trust your friends.
19-year-old college student Michael Hubbard is suing his mother, phone service rep Samantha Votava, for money he claims she promised to give him. Samantha says she promised him nothing.
Order. All rise. Quiet in the courtroom, please.
Yeah, this is case number 404 on the calendar in the matter of Hubbard versus Votava. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Mr. Hubbard, the defendant is your mother.
Yes, ma'am.
According to your complaint, your mother promised to give you some money towards the purchase of a car.
Right.
You say that she promised to give you at least $1,000.
Yes.
You went out and purchased a car, and how much did you spend for the car?
The car was actually like $5,500.
I thought you said you spent $3,000.
$3,000 was actually how much I was going to spend on the car when I told my mom. But I actually ended up spending $5,500 because she told me she was going to give me some money.
Excuse me.
Shh, just a minute.
Your Honor?
Speak not.
No, I've got pertinent information. We never agreed to any amount of money to give him.
Quiet.
But we never agreed.
Could you be quiet?
We never
So last
agreed.
time.
I actually, you know what, Your Honor? $3,000 was how much I said I was going to spend on my car. That's the truth.
You did sign this complaint,
Yes, I
did you
did.
not, sir, where you
Yes,
say
I
I
did.
bought a car for $3,000?
Right.
All right, so let me see
sorry.
the bill of sale for the car that you bought. Now you
Okay.
say you spent $5,500.
This is actually the loan that I had to take out. You see, Your Honor, actually, you know what, though? The thing is, this whole court...
Just a second.
Okay.
The amount of credit approved was $45.75.
Right, because
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now you say that your mother promised to give you at least $1,000. When did she promise to give you this $1,000?
Okay, I got in my car accident. I totaled my car back in March of 2002. And after that, my stepmother, Vicky, she called my mom and told her about the accident. Then I called my mom just to let her know I was okay and everything like that. And she told me, since how my dad bought the first car, she was going to help me like with the second car. She told me she'd give me like $1,200. And she ended up giving me $200 in May as a down payment. And then she told me she'd give me like $100, you know, a month after that because she couldn't afford to just give me $1,000 like right off the bat. So I said that, I was like, you sure you want to do this, you know? And she's like, yeah, your dad helped you, I want to help you the best I can. I said, okay, that was fine. And so that was the agreement between us. And actually, my mom is really, really a really good mom. I love her to death. She raised me and my brother and my sister as like a single mom, and she did a really good job.
So what are you suing her for?
This is the reason why I'm suing her. I'm suing her actually because the way she's been using her money lately just is not right, because she told me the reason why she wasn't giving me $100 a month is because of her financial problems. I thought she had like serious financial problems, but she actually, it comes to like out that she really didn't have that many financial problems because Like a couple months later, she told me she bought 2 new cars. She bought a new car for herself and for my stepfather. I'm like, you know, if you have financial problems, why do you have enough money to buy 2 new cars? And I had to get I had to work extra hours. I'm in college, so I had to like work like 40 hours a week and go to college, and it was killing me. And I was doing it because I thought she had financial problems. Then to come find out, just a couple months ago, I found out she wants to pose in an adult magazine, and she's putting a portfolio together to do that.
So,
what
does that have to do with you?
Well, this is my mom, and I really think
It has
that's...
nothing to do with you. The only issue is whether she promised to give you another $800.
Your Honor?
She did.
I didn't ask you anything.
But I have some pertinent information.
You
Because
said
it was
that
never-
before, and I said I'm not interested in what you have to say right now, sir. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And so, she actually told me...
Quiet.
Okay.
Did you have a conversation with your son after he had an automobile accident?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Okay. And did you indicate to him that you would help him purchase a new car?
Not exactly.
What exactly did you say to him?
I told him that I was going to send him $200 to help him with the down payment of a car. Plus, I sent him $50 for his birthday and advised that he use that towards the down payment of a car. I told him that I would try to send him $100 a month, maybe $50 a month, whatever I could try.
I don't want to hear you. I'm listening to your mother now. She was quiet. Now you keep quiet.
Okay.
I want you to try to think. Try to clear your mind. And I want you to try to think of exactly what you said to him. You said you would give him the down payment, which you gave him. And you did tell him that you would try to send him something every month.
Correct.
How much did you say you would send him every month?
I didn't give him a set amount. I told him it would be anywhere from, I said if I could send him 100, I would. If I could send him 50, I would. You know, if I could send something, I would. But I did not set a dollar amount, and I didn't say that I'd send him $1,000 either. I was just trying to help him as I could. And I think that he's just being really vindictive right now because of the fact that we have different moral values.
Your Honor.
And
I'm not.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He's upset with me because I am planning on doing a photo shoot with an adult magazine, and I think that he's just being vindictive and bringing me into court for that money because he doesn't want me to do that.
Well, it sounds to me as if you and your son enjoyed a pleasant relationship. Is that right?
That is very correct, yes.
Okay. How old is he?
He's 19.
And how old are you?
I'm 38.
Do you have other children?
Yes, I do.
How many other children do you have?
I have 2.
How old are they?
15 and 10.
And your 15-year-old is a boy or a girl?
Boy.
Where does he live?
With me.
And what about the 10-year-old?
She's a girl and she's with me.
Okay. If what you're telling me is that your son is upset with you, and you say because we have different morals, that's not probably true. Not upset with you because you have different morals. It sounds to me like he's upset with you because he thinks that you made a choice that's going to embarrass him, embarrass yourself, embarrass his brother, embarrass his sister, and to be quite honest with you, madam, although this is not part of this case, he's 100% correct. You have made a very dumb choice. If you think at 38 years old, as the mother of 3 children, one of whom is 19 years old, and the other one is a 15-year-old teenager, and the other one is a 10-year-old, if you think you're going to have a new career, Hollywood is going to find you at age 38 posing in a magazine that's going to embarrass your child, you're nuts. Hollywood's not looking for you. Do you understand? Hollywood is not looking for you. Not. And if you make $5,000 doing this photo shoot, it's not worth the respect of your children. So I would do a little bit of rethinking along those lines, and that's just gratuitous advice from somebody. Somebody offered me a lot more at my age, and who would want to look at it, I don't know, but the truth of the matter is, at age 38, you're a very attractive woman, but your body is not the same as somebody who's 22. And if somebody's going to pay $1.50 to look in a magazine, they're going to look at somebody who's 22, not somebody who's 38 or slightly older.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I wouldn't have went out and bought that expensive of a car if I wouldn't have thought that she was going to give me the money. I'm not retarded, you know?
Oh.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Michael Hubbard says his mother, Samantha Votava, promised to give him $1,000 so he could purchase a car. Michael says She came up a little short.
Mr. Hubbard, I'm not exactly sure what she said. She probably said to you, I'm going to try to send you $100 a month.
Yeah, she did.
I believe that she said that to you. Okay. I'm going to try to send, put your hand down. I'm going to try to send you $100 a month. I believe she said that. That is not a promise to pay you $100 a month, sir.
She did promise. She even told her. She didn't just tell me, she told my stepmom too. And I wouldn't have went out and bought that expensive of a car if I wouldn't have thought that she was going to give me the money. I'm not retarded, you know?
Oh.
That's a matter of opinion.
I don't believe that she said to you, I am going to give you $100 a month.
She said she did. She did. She did.
Go ahead,
she said,
step up. Last name is?
Hubbard.
All right.
Stepmother.
You're a stepmother?
Yes.
Go ahead.
The day of the car accident, I called her to let her know that he was in a car accident. And she said, she was hysterical, and she said, I will pay him $1,000. She kept saying over and over, I'm going to get this done, I'm going to send him the money. She said something like $200 a month that she was going to be sending him.
You say 200, he says 100. She sends a month. She got a little confused.
She told me 200 a month, and then she would call because I speak to her more often than they speak. So she said she started off with 200 a month, and then 1,000, and then it just all disappeared after she wanted to pursue other things. You want me to sit down?
Your Honor, she did. She gave me that $200. She gave me the $200 as a down payment, and then she gave me $50 and told me, she said, you should probably put it towards your car.
You don't belong here suing your mother, sir.
You don't understand. We talked, and she said, I'm going to give you $1,200.
You don't belong here suing your mother, sir. I'm going to explain a little contract law to you. Ordinarily, there has to be in a contract some consideration. So if somebody says, I'm going to give you $1,000, there has to be a consideration for it in exchange for you doing something, in exchange for you naming the car. What's your first name?
Samantha.
Samantha. I'm going to give you $1,000.
Okay.
In this instance, there was no consideration. She merely said to you, according to you, I'm going to give you this money.
Right.
A valid contract has not been created unless it was in writing, and this wasn't in writing. Is that right?
Right. It wasn't in writing.
It wasn't.
Okay.
I'm educating you.
Yes,
Let me try to educate you for a moment, because maybe you learned something. In this case, if I believe that she said to you, I am going to give you $1,000, and you acted on that by going out and purchasing a car to your detriment, which means you did something that was putting yourself in a financial bind based upon her promise, that is an exception to the rule so that the courts can enforce that. Do you understand that, Bert?
Yes.
Yeah. So, you could still be held responsible, if I believe that. But what I believe is your mom said to you, I'm going to try to give you $50, $100, $200 a month towards the car. And you were hopeful that she was going to do that. And in reliance on that, you went out and bought the car of your dreams, which was what, sir?
95 Nissan 200SX. That's not that expensive of a car. It was used, it was a private owner. So
No, but you could have bought a Saturn.
I could have bought a Saturn.
A 1995 Saturn for a lot less, right?
Right, but she said that she's going to give me $1,200. Your Honor.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
What?
As a matter of fact, I had a 92 Saturn when he was wanting me to give him, this money.
Now, this gentleman is who?
This is my husband.
Okay, he's dying to say something. Now I'm going to let him speak. Now stand up, sir. Now, how long have you been married?
2 years.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a manufacturing engineer. What I wanted to say was that my stepson, using poor judgment, bought a car. When he bought the car, he didn't put full coverage on it. So when he got in the wreck, my wife was beside herself. She came to me and asked me, can we send him what we can? And I said, yes, we can send him what we can, but no more, because we're on a tight budget. We got 2 more kids. So his poor judgment in not insuring his car to its fullest extent. Now, it was a mistaken judgment, and he totaled the car, and the best thing that came out of it, he was unharmed.
And I also, Your Honor, I had told him in the very beginning to make sure that he had full coverage on the first car, because usually kids wreck their first car.
Your Honor, I couldn't afford full coverage.
That's like we're not going to make a big first wedding. Thank you for your explanation.
Your Honor.
Can I tell you something, please?
Yeah.
Okay, his story is not completely true, because actually, I didn't buy my first car. My dad bought me my first car.
So you should have had insurance on it, is what
I
he's
did have
saying. But
insurance.
it's really not important. The important thing is whether I believe that she made a statement, and that statement was, I am going to give you 50, 100, 200, a specific amount, and in reliance upon that, you went out and purchased this car. I believe that what your mother said to you was, I'm going to help you, I'm going to send you $200 now, give you another $50 for your birthday, and I'm going to try to send you what I can every month.
She told
Listen to me. That's what I find. That's my job. My job is to try to figure out what is logical.
Right. I'm just trying to.
Right.
They keep
And
saying that.
it also is very distressing to me that a child knows that. I mean, I don't think your mother probably has a whole bunch of money. Is that right?
Well, she bought 2 brand new cars.
I
She
don't
keeps
think
saying
that.
they had, like,
Listen to me, sir.
financial
I
problems.
work.
They just
I
got
work
tattoos.
hard.
She just got tattoos like the other day. They say they have
Listen
no
to
money.
me. That's not your business.
It's not my business. But
You're
they keep
19 years
telling me-
old. It's not your business. All that is your business is, and one thing that you said to me that I can relate to is that I think you are angry with your mother because of some career choices that she's making that I certainly hope she rethinks. In any event, your lawsuit's dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
That's embarrassing if your mom's like on page 56 in Playboy.
I should be able to do whatever I want to do.
It really bothers me.
I think it's just going to be something he has to accept, and I hope that he'll still continue to love me.
Helen Adams is suing 19-year-old construction worker Alex Contreras and his mother, maintenance worker Ana Maria Asensio, for damage caused to her car when she hit their dog. Alex and his mother are countersuing for emotional distress.
Order. All rise.
Now, this is case number 345 on the calendar in the matter of Adams versus Contreras Asensio. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have seats.
Miss Adams, on what date did this accident happen?
December 16th.
What time?
Approximately 10:15 p.m.
What kind of a car were you driving?
A 93 Saturn.
According to your complaint, the defendant's dog ran out into the middle of the road. Your car hit the dog. A lot of damage was caused to your car you want the defendants to pay for.
Yes, ma'am.
Unfortunately, the dog was killed, not immediately, after the dog was hit by your car, and they say that you were probably going too fast. They are counterclaiming for the pain and suffering that they felt when their dog died and for the value of the dog. What kind of a street is this?
It's a residential. It's a very narrow residential street.
Do you live in that neighborhood?
No.
What were you doing there?
I had taken some paperwork to my friend that lives around the corner from them.
Is there lighting in the streets?
It's not a lot of lighting, no. It's not as bright as a busy street.
Tell me what happened.
I had left my friend's house. I pulled around the corner, and it was approximately 6 houses down. This dog ran out in front of me. I don't even think I had a chance to hit my brakes when I hit it. It ran between 2 cars, and I was there.
Were there cars parked on the side of the street?
Oh yeah, it's a very busy street. It's a tight street.
So there were cars parked, and the dog ran out in between the cars.
Yes.
What was your dog doing out without a leash?
I wasn't there at the time, but
okay, so you don't know who was who was there?
Well, my neighbor, my guest neighbor, he
Your
was
who?
there. He saw everything what happened.
Just a second.
Sorry.
Were you there?
No.
Well, who was there?
My witness, him.
I was right there.
Tell me what your name is.
My name is Gerardo Cruz.
Mr. Cruz, were you taking care of the dog?
No, I had it was in 10:15 p.m. Excuse me.
You answer my questions.
Okay.
First, put your hands down. Were you taking care of the dog?
Yes, I was.
You just told me no. Were you taking care of the dog, or were you not taking care of the dog?
Yes, I was taking care of the dog.
Okay. What was the dog doing without a leash?
Well, he followed me out to the street. It was approximately 4:50 between 4:30 and 5 o'clock when that lady
I don't care
ran
what
over the
time
dog.
it was. First of all, what kind of dog is this?
It's a Rottweiler.
So it's a big dog.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was this big dog doing in your care without a leash?
Had gone out to the street.
For what?
To get a football across the street.
You went out to go get a football across the street.
Yes.
And?
And I picked it up, and the dog followed me accidentally. I guess out to the street. And I was talking to my elderly neighbor that lives right in front of my house when I saw the dog coming towards me, so I told him, go back. So he was going back. Approximately, the car was coming 40 to 50 miles per hour when the impact.
Sit down. Did you leave him in charge of your house?
He's my guest house.
He
lives in my house. Like I got a guest home.
He lives in the back of our
back
house,
of my house.
in our guest home.
So he was in charge of your dog?
Well, we're not there at the moment.
At the time, he was the only one that was there and seen everything with my neighbor.
Let me hear. Listen to me. When you weren't home, where did you put your dog?
On the backyard.
And his house is in the backyard?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if he goes out and the dog is not chained or anything, he's just in the backyard?
Yes.
He let the dog out?
Yeah.
He let the dog out?
Yeah.
So, what do you want from her? You got a big Rottweiler. He walks out to get a football, goes across the streets talking to somebody. He's not paying attention. He doesn't know whether he's a foot or horseback. He lets your big dog come out, and your dog gets hit by a car.
How come she drives 45 or 50 miles per hour?
You weren't, madam, let me explain something to you. You weren't there. You weren't there. It's his fault, not her fault. It's his fault. And if he made up a story that the car was speeding, that just to make himself feel better because of his negligence, the dog got out of the backyard and the dog got hit. Dogs are stupid. They're not smart. Dog doesn't say, oh, I could get hit by a car if I ran out between these two cars. It sees somebody that they knew walking out, followed him. He doesn't turn around before he crosses the street and say, oh, I left the gate open. The dog followed me out. I better go put the dog back inside or get a leash. No, 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 no. He goes over to talk to a neighbor, right? Very smart, very intelligent. Let me see the damage to the car, please.
Here's the estimate. I already paid for that. That's been paid for the radiator.
What did you do after the dog came in contact with your car?
After I hit the dog, I got out to see if the dog was okay, and the dog got up and took off running, so I asked him to stay with the car, and I followed the dog. Well, the dog jumped into a yard, and there was a gentleman, nobody here, but there was a gentleman standing in the front yard that didn't speak Spanish, and I said, is somebody here?
Didn't speak English.
I mean, I'm sorry, only spoke Spanish, didn't speak English. And a little girl ran in the house and asked some lady to come out who spoke English. So I said, is that your dog? And she said, yes. I said, well, I just hit it, and I said, I've got damage to my new car, and I said, I'd like to have it taken care of. At which point, she said, okay. We walked over, she looked at my car, and she said, that's not my dog. That belongs to my father-in-law. I said, okay. So I said, can I have his number? They gave me a business card, and I said, okay. They said, call tomorrow. So I called the next morning. He wasn't there. So I called for several days, and finally I went over there and I spoke to this gentleman right here, and he threatened me with bodily injury.
My God.
Me and my household.
That's a lie.
That's not a lie.
Your Honor, that's a lie.
Your Honor, I had a witness. I had a witness that's in the hospital.
Listen to me. I'm going to give you a chance to respond to. I don't want you. Pay careful attention where you are. You're in a courtroom. You're not outside. She's going to testify. Then you're going to have a chance to rebut what she says. All right.
I had a witness. He's in the hospital. He
I'm not interested in seeing.
And then here's a letter from my mother that I was on a speakerphone.
I'm not interested in a letter from your mother.
Okay. They just threatened me over the phone too. At which point, my mom's very ill, and I can't put my mom through that, so we moved.
Damages are about $3,000 to the car. It was done?
I also missed a hospital appointment 2 days later because my car was out of commission that I was supposed to have a
Should have
surgery.
taken a cab. Don't be ridiculous.
It's
Don't
in
pad
Hawthorne.
it. Don't
I'm
listen
disabled.
to me.
I have no money.
Listen to me.
Okay.
Don't pad it.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Genius over here doesn't call the vet immediately, doesn't call a hospital immediately to take the dog over. He lets the dog bleed to death for 6 hours.
And later today,
she jabs his stick into the truck a couple times. She said something about, my man stayed all night with you last night. I was like, your man ain't stayed all night with me. I have no clue what you're talking about or who the F you are.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Helen Adams says Alex Contreras and his mother Ana Maria Asensio owe for damage to her car when she ran over their dog. Alex and his mom say Helen was driving too fast.
I don't think that you were going 50 or 60 miles an hour down that street. I think that he said that just to make himself feel a little bit better because he's really responsible for the dog getting killed. Put your hand down.
I was going to say so.
I'm not interested. If I were interested, I know what it means. I didn't think you had to go to the
but
bathroom,
he's
sir.
Lying. I was there
Listen
too.
to
I'm
me,
in the
sir.
same neighborhood.
Listen to me, sir. It's his fault that the dog got killed. He left the gate open and allowed the dog to get out. If he were careful and left his house and closed the gate, then the dog wouldn't have had an opportunity to run out between two parked cars and get killed. It's his fault.
Their dog jumps the fence.
I'm
sorry.
That's not what he said happened.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
I'm just curious about something. The dog got back to your house. Did you take the dog to the vet?
Yeah, it was too late. So we had called sanitation, animal control, and by the time it was, I don't know, by the time, I wasn't there, man, to tell you the truth, but no, I got there 4 or 5 days later, because she was...
Got there 4 or 5 days later?
Because she was...
Quiet. When you realized the dog had been hit, did you call a vet immediately?
No.
What time did you get home?
Around 10.
Around 10 o'clock at night. Where was the dog?
He was over there bleeding.
So according to this gentleman, this happened 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The dog was still alive when you came home at 10 o'clock. That's what you said?
Bleeding.
Yeah, of course, bleeding from 4 o'clock in the afternoon, according to this genius.
To tell you the truth, I don't know if he was there now because I don't take care of the dog. Only my son, and you know them, because I don't...
Pay careful attention to me. He testified that this happened at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He walked out of the yard, leaving the door open. The dog came out, the dog got hit. Right? The dog is bleeding. Genius over here doesn't call the vet immediately, doesn't call a hospital immediately to take the dog over. He lets the dog bleed to death for 6 hours. I mean, this is somebody...
I know,
I mean,
I understand.
do you have children?
Yes, I do.
Don't let him take care of your children.
No, my children, I take care of
No,
them.
don't let him take care of your
No.
children. Good.
I'm
Judgment
not
for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. That's all.
All right, guys, excuse, you may step out.
The problem was, is the dog was big. If I'd have been going faster, it would have busted my windshield because he came up on my hood.
She got up, oh, whose F dog is this? Who's F the F owner? Who's this? Who's that? Come on.
They said, no problem, we'll take care of it. And then they just, all of a sudden, everything changed after they saw the damage done to my car.
She knows she's lying. Obviously, she's lying.
They threatened me with bodily injury to me and my household.
She said I threatened her. That's the first lie. If anything, she threatened me.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hollis versus Kirkland. Step forward, please.
Inventory control clerk Lori Hollis is suing her former live-in boyfriend, salesman Alex Kirkland, for unpaid rent and bills. Alex says this is revenge for their breakup.
Ms. Hollis, according to your complaint, a couple of years ago, the defendant lived with you. I assume you were in some sort of a relationship when he came to live with you. You say that he owes you money for rent and other bills. Mr. Kirkland says he doesn't owe you a thing, that you never had an agreement with regard to rent, and when he was working, he gave you money. Is that right, sir?
That's correct.
Okay. When did you move in together, or he moved in with you?
June 10th, 2001.
And how long did you know him before he moved in with you?
From October 1999 for a little over a year and a half.
Why did he move in with you?
He had gotten into a situation where he needed a place to live. And
I don't know what that means.
He had broken up with his girlfriend at the time and he needed a place to live. He was moving out of his place. And so I offered to let him stay with me.
So he wasn't your boyfriend at the time, he was
No.
just a friend?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And we had an agreement that he was supposed to pay me $450 a month plus, half of the living expenses, utilities. And about 10 days, I think it was like the 25th of June, he had lost his job. And he lost his job under circumstances which prevented him from being able to collect unemployment. I was a friend of his, and I had faith that he would get a job soon and, and be able to adhere to our agreement. But he stayed unemployed all the way through March 2002.
That's your problem. That's your problem.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Soon after he did get a job, he picked up and left.
He's consistent.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Lori Hollis says ex-boyfriend Alex Kirkland owes for rent and bills. Alex says Lori is a vengeful woman.
Let me tell you what you just told me. You just told me that he broke up with his girlfriend and he had to move out of her apartment. Right? I assume it was her apartment because she wasn't leaving. He was being forced out. Is that right? That's why he came to live with you.
Well, I don't know the circumstances of their relationship. So
well, certainly he needed the place to live. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Then, as soon as he got to your house, he lost his job. And when you say he lost his job under circumstances under which he could not collect unemployment, which means he didn't leave voluntarily. He left because he got caught doing something wrong. Well, if you get caught doing something wrong, then maybe you can't collect unemployment. Because if you get fired, and if you've had a work history, then you can collect unemployment. So now you have faith in him that he's going to get a job, but he doesn't get a job. So you can, if he's just your friend, you say to him, toodaloo. Well, but you decided not to. So why are you here a year and a half later looking for rent?
Well, all the time that he was staying with me, well, in September of 2001, he decided, he instigated a conversation with me to take our relationship further, because we had been friends for a real long time. We cared about each other, and I loved him. So
that's why you let him stay.
I let him stay.
That's why you let him stay.
And he continually told me that, you know, don't worry, you'll get a job and he'll pay me what he owes me, and so on. But soon after he did get a job, he picked up and left. And
he's consistent. He's consistent. So what are you complaining about?
Well, the fact that
you cared for him. He evidently was not committed.
I do have a signed rental agreement by him, though.
Let me see it. When did you have him sign a rental agreement?
Well, I tried to get him to sign it soon after he had moved in. He kind of avoided it for a little while, and he ended up signing it because it was the truth, and that he was going to use it as so in a child support hearing to prevent his child support from being raised.
Were you involved in the child support dispute, sir?
Yes.
Is that why you signed this agreement?
That is why I signed that agreement.
So, according to this, you owe her for a year's rent.
According to that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
And?
I didn't really remember signing that agreement. And once she brings it, now that she brings it up, the reason that I signed it was to take into court to show that I was living at a place and everything was on the up and up, and for them not to raise the child support, which they did anyway. It had really nothing to do with rent. She agreed to help me knowing the situation that I was in. I did pay her. I signed my complete checks over to her once I started working, and I didn't move out right after I got a job.
When you say you signed your complete checks over to her, how often did he do that? How many times did he sign his complete checks over to you?
He did the first check he got in April. He did, because we were kind of in the rears at rent at the time.
So how much was that?
I don't know how much.
How much was that? Do you remember?
I believe it was around $500 from what I had left from the child support.
Mm-hmm.
And he moved out in July 15th.
Okay. Mr. Kirkland, what you're suggesting is that you took this piece of paper. You were sworn to tell the truth.
That's correct.
And the judge asked you what your expenses were?
Yes, he did. I told him that I wasn't working, and those are expenses that were against me.
You gave this to the judge when you were under oath and said, these are my expenses.
Yes.
My rent is $450 a month.
That's correct.
I need this for transportation. I need this for clothing. Is that right?
That's correct.
So now you're coming into this court, and you're telling me in this court that this was merely meant to fool the judge in the child support proceeding.
Well, that's not correct.
Of course that's correct. That you furnished this document to the judge in the child support hearing in the hopes that they would not raise your child support, but that this agreement was false. You were not supposed to pay $450 a month rent. So you furnished this to the judge in that hearing in order to fool that judge. Your fair statement?
I guess that would be a fair statement.
Got a judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He said that he was going to pay me $200 a month.
It had just gotten sour because it just wasn't working out between us.
When I tried to get it, I would get emails saying that he can't pay me right now and stuff.
All this came up after we stopped seeing each other, and things started to get a little bitter.
I just got to a point where, you know, I believe that he just didn't intend to pay me at all.
It wasn't anything bad that she did. It just wasn't right for us.
Some of the emails that he sent me weren't all that nice.
A lot of it was revenge.
To leave him alone and that he'll pay me when he pretty much wins the lottery.
And now the next case.
All parties are Fajardo versus Bogert. Step forward, please.
22-year-old student Sonia Fajardo is suing her ex-girlfriend, 28-year-old student Christina Bogert, for unpaid loans to get back on her feet. Christina says they were in love and the money was never a loan.
Ms. Fajardo, it is your claim that the defendant owes you some money as a result of a loan. And this loan was made to the defendant while you were dating. Tell me about the loan.
Well, when we first started dating, I was in Orlando, and I moved down to Miami to start school. And when we were dating, it was long-term, and I wanted her to move down with me, and she also wanted to live down there with me as well. She did have lots of bills that after September 11th, as a server, you don't make that much money when people don't go out to eat.
You were working in a restaurant?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. So the plan was that she would move in with me. She was living in my dorm room. She didn't have to pay for rent, utilities, anything like that. No food, because we had the cafeteria. I mean, no bills, and she could save the money, pay me back, and pay the rest of her bills. And when she moved down, everything was fine until people found out on campus. And obviously, that's against the rules, so it was either she move out or...
You mean against
both.
the rules for her to live in the dorm room
Yes.
and eat in the cafeteria as a non-student?
Yes.
So, I mean, that's logical. People pay a lot of money for that.
Yeah, and since we were sort of desperate, my friend was renting a room, and when she moved down there, she was still not making enough. So she was
To what?
changing jobs.
She wasn't making enough to pay for what? She didn't have any expenses.
Well, she has a car payment and credit cards that she had to pay, and she wasn't able to pay it, and she needed to borrow some more money so that she could live in my friend's apartment. But I only had $200 at the time, so I lent her $200 and then the rest later. But throughout this whole time, she always would say, I'm going to put that money back in your account.
You didn't talk in terms of repayment. It's later on that she said, I want to repay you.
Yes.
So the original money that you laid out for her was not a loan. It was, come down here because we can be together. That's what you're telling me. It was she who then said at some point, as soon as I get on my feet, I'll put this money back in your account. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Well, that's not a loan. Because she says there was never a loan.
But she also asked me, though. I mean, it wasn't just an offer. She asked me, and I said, okay.
You said okay?
To lend her the money.
Even if you said you'll pay me back when you can. That's a possibility, right?
Possible, yes.
Right? If you have that kind of need to be with each other, then you don't start talking about these financial arrangements when you're going to start paying me back on the 1st of September, $50, and every 15th and the 1st of the month thereafter. You didn't have that conversation. That's what a loan is. At least if you make a loan and this is what you owe. This is how you're going to pay it back. This is when you're going to pay it back. That's a contract. It's not a contract, Ms. Fajardo, when you say, here's the money, pay me back when you can.
It wasn't when you can. It was when she moved down, she was supposed to pay me back, and she never paid me back. That was a plan for her to pay me back.
Okay. Now, was that your plan?
No, as far as I'm concerned, it wasn't a
Not
loan
as far
at
as
all.
you're concerned.
Oh.
Was that your plan, is what I asked you, Ms. Bogart? To pay her back. She's the student, you're the worker.
I paid for everyday incidentals. I mean, I was making cash daily as a server. So we'd go out to eat, we'd go out entertainment at night and everything like that, and I paid for that. When it came to paying for bills that needed, signing off on a check, I didn't have a checking account. So that's where she came in, and she made out the actual checks. I, on the other hand, paid for, daily expenses. It was a mutual agreement. We were in a relationship. She paid for things, I paid for things. It was never
How
loan.
long did you stay in her dorm room?
I'm not sure, a couple months? I'm not exactly sure.
About a month and a half.
And how many times did you take her out to dinner?
Enough. More than 10 times, less than 100.
We went out to dinner once, and I put it on my credit card to actual dinner. The rest was going to maybe Taco Bell or Burger King.
That's still dinner.
What money did you advance her, Ms. Fajardo?
I advanced her $500.
For what?
Her car payment.
$500. What else?
There was a speeding ticket that she had gotten for $147.
Go ahead, what else?
With the citation.
What else?
And then rent.
What rent?
For the
$200?
$200 and then $250.
She also lived in that apartment with me.
I lived in my dorm room. I never gave up my dorm room.
I don't care whether you gave up the dorm room. Did you ever sleep in another apartment that she was living in?
Yes.
Forget it.
But I was not living there. I lived on campus the whole time.
All of this was gifts to you by someone who was sort of smitten, and there was never an agreement or an understanding that when you could, you would start paying her back. That's what you want me to
Well, it was a
believe.
relationship. I mean, we did things for each other. I mean, it wasn't like a business.
So far, I haven't heard anything that you did for her. Only that she did for you, financially. I'm talking about only financially.
Well, just because she has the documentation for it, because she had the checking account. I, on the other hand, because I was a server, only had cash. I don't have any...
That's a very, very smart thing. A server should have a bank account. She has the documentation because she provided the money. And it is my belief that you are responsible to repay her this money, even though she did it in sort of a sloppy way. I believe it was the intention of both parties at the time that she advanced this money for you to begin to pay it back at some point. You seem to think you don't have that obligation. I believe you do. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,294. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She only wanted money from me after we broke up.
I had been asking her the whole time to pay me back.
Then all of a sudden it came about that I owed her so much money.
It's just been a struggle financially.
When it was just a relationship and we shared things.
So it definitely wasn't that.
I don't feel like it was I owe you, you owe me.
I've been waiting for her to return the money I loaned to her.
We just did things together, and whoever it came from, it didn't matter.
This entire thing was a betrayal.
She got angry and she took revenge by taking me to court.
I just want to move away and move on.
I mean, we probably could have worked things out a little bit more amicably, in my opinion.
You can help a person as much as long as it has nothing to do with money, because it ruins friendships.